Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where we like to talk all things finance and investing. Today's video, we're going to finish up our two-part mini-series on a couple of T Rowe Price articles in and around how much you should have saved for your retirement based on your age. We all know that at the moment there's loads of data and scary headlines out there of people just not having enough saved for their retirement to ensure that they have a comfortable and adequate retirement that they want. This is a massive problem around many parts of the world at the moment. So T Rowe Price has done a couple of articles on this. If you're watching this video, good for you. You're looking to learn a little bit about how to prepare for your retirement. And I've seen the headline one time, preparing for your retirement always outperforms worrying about it. And a lot of people are worried about it. So let's get into the video, the second of our two-part series, how much you need to have saved for your retirement based on your age. Okay, so on my screen we have the report here. As you can see, this was done by T Rowe Price. The title of the article, your age 35, 50, or 60, how much you have saved, how much should you have saved for retirement by now. So this report was done by Roger Young, a certified financial planner at T Rowe Price, who is an investment firm, in case you're not aware of that. So let's get into a couple of the key insights. So first off, and I've made some highlights here. The first one you can see is the savings benchmarks based on age and salary can serve as a helpful way to track progress against saving for retirement. It's one thing to have a bit of a plan, to have a bit of an idea of how much you want to have saved for your retirement, whether that be at 60, 65 or even earlier or potentially later. But how you track against that plan is one of the most important things, okay? Second key insight, saving 15% of income per year, including any employer contributions. A lot of people will get an employer contribution into their retirement account, is an appropriate savings level for many. So my last video, part one of this series, we went into that a lot as well. So if you haven't seen that, you can watch that below, link in the description, but 15% including employer contributions, okay? According to T Rowe Price, that is. Now we get into how much you should have saved by particular age. Having 1 to 1.5 times your income saved for retirement by age 35 is an attainable target for someone who starts saving at age 25. Okay, so simple example, if you're making, let's say $50,000, 50,000 pounds, euros, whatever it is, by age 35, having about 1.5 times of that is an attainable goal to have. So in that case, you would have around $75,000 or pounds saved up. A lot of you watching this, you may have fallen short on that. That's a pretty ambitious goal, but that's kind of the nature of retirement saving. Of course, as we saw in my last video, the earlier you start, the better. Okay, and in fact, the earlier you start, in theory, the less you actually need to put away. So if you start your retirement savings journey at 22 years old, you really only need to start with about 11% of your gross annual income to hit a comfortable and adequate retirement in the age of 65, okay? So let's keep going down. Okay, when you want to track your progress toward a goal, chances are there is an app that can do that for you. For example, you can track your steps, your packages, your diet, and even your family's whereabouts. We all know there's apps to track everything, health, fitness, and all sorts of things, okay? But what about when it comes to saving for your retirement? How much time do you spend tracking your progress? And at what point in your life should you start paying attention? And this is really the crux of the problem. A lot of people in their 20s and even into their 30s, they don't even think about it. It's too far away for them. They can't afford it, they think, and they just don't go with the planning that's needed. Some of you will receive your company contributions at that age in your 20s and 30s, but aren't really adding any additional funds yourselves. In fact, I know people who even refused to sign up to our company retirement savings plans when they were in their 20s and 30s. And in my opinion, that is a huge, huge mistake, because some of these plans are pretty generous, where the company will actually match your contributions. So if your company has a plan in place, do take full advantage of that as much as possible, okay? So what should you have saved by age 35, 50, and 60? Okay, well, if we scroll down to this table here, I think it's easier to see than really reading out the text. So savings benchmarks by age as a multiple of income. So if you look at this figure one, you can see age 30, 0.5 time. So what they're saying here is you're kind of on track if at age 30 you have around half of a year's saving put in your retirement account. So simple example, if you're making $40,000, let's say at 30 years old, you will be on track if you have $20,000 in your 401k or your self-invested pension, workplace pension, whatever, okay? I think that's a pretty good goal as well. Ideally, you want to even go further than that, more aggressive. If you can save in your 20s and come up with one time, so gross annual income for 1 year in your retirement account, you'll even be further ahead of the game. And of course, the earlier you start, the longer the compounding can work its magic. What about at 35? Well, according to T Rowe Price, you should be at 1 to 1.5 times your salary saved. At 40, 1.5 to 2.5 times your salary saved. So if you take the kind of the approximate midpoint of that, by age 40, you should have 2 years of your gross annual income put in your retirement account. Think about that though, that's still not very much. You could have a retirement of 30 years. So you're gonna need, around 30 years worth of income that can come. So it's super important that you just get invested and get as much in there as possible to build this up as early as possible. As the years go down, 45, you're looking at around 3 times. 50, you're looking at about 5 times. And at age 55, when a lot of people would love nothing more than to retire, you're going to need around 7 times your gross annual income put in your retirement account to do that. If you're not there, then you're going to have to keep going. At 60, you're going to need about 9 times your gross annual income put away in your retirement account. And at age 65, when a lot of people retire nowadays, you're going to need about 11% of your gross annual income put away in your retirement account, okay? So those are some pretty big numbers, and definitely something you don't want to put you off because it's a bit scary. Quite the opposite. You want this to make you to take action. That's the whole purpose of me sharing this with you. Hopefully these numbers kind of prompt you to take some action. Now, a couple of things here I wanted to highlight. The person retires at an age 65 and begins withdrawing 4% of their assets, which is a rate that's intended to support a steady and inflation-adjusted spending over a 30-year retirement. Why did I point this one out? Think about this. You hit 65, you've got a big pot of money now. The theory goes you should be able to withdraw 4% per year and never have to worry about running out of money. That's the theory behind this and why they use these numbers. Now, what does that actually mean? Think about this for a second. If you're taking out 4%, if you have £1 million or $1 million, €1 million, for example, in your pot, that only works out to a £40,000 euro income per year. So think about that for a second. That is unbelievable that you would need that much just to get a 40K income out of it. But don't let it put you off. Make sure that you're putting as much as you can into your retirement accounts so you have those numbers ideally when the time comes, whether that's at 55, 60, 65, or even 70. Preparing early is always the best way to go, and it's totally achievable. Okay, so we'll scroll down a bit further and see what else we got in this report. So rather, our hypothetical investor starts saving 6% at age 25 and ramps up savings by 1 percentage point each year, reaching an appropriate level. So if you're, say, 25 and you don't have much to put in, you always want to put in the maximum that you can afford. But if it's only, as these guys have assumed, 6%, for example, then you can increase that amount 1% each year as your salary starts increases and you get raises. Now, this is the one thing I don't like about the report, that they're actually assuming a 6% contribution rate at age 25. And I think it should be the opposite. I think you should be more aggressive in your 20s with this because of the power of compounding, the amount of time that you have for that to compound. You'll only need to put in less and less the earlier and earlier you start. So if you're watching this in your 20s and you say, oh, okay, I'm 25, so 6% is adequate, it absolutely is not. If you're 25, you should be doing at least 12.5%. And I would say you do that before your company contributions. Aggressive is the key to coming up with enough of a retirement plan to help you achieve your goals in your retirement. We found that 15% of income per year, including employer contributions, is an appropriate savings level for many people, but higher earners likely aim beyond the 15%. Okay, so T Rowe Price uses 15% as a good rule of thumb of what you should put into your retirement, but that includes employer contributions. I would say you're better off doing 15% and not including your employer contributions. Have those added on top. That might get you up to 18, 20, perhaps even 22, 25%. So I would be far more aggressive on this, okay? And as we go down, we look at figure 2 here, and really this just is a closer look at the savings benchmarks when you get later in your life. So if you're married on a dual income, for example, at age 55, if your current household income is 100,000, then you want to have about 5.5 times put away. At age 60, 7.5 times, or age 65, around 9 times. And as you can see in this figure, they broke it down whether you're married on a dual income, married as a sole earner, or you're actually just single. But the main thing to take away here is if you start looking at these columns for age 60 and age 65, look at how much you actually need. If you're single and age 65, you're going to need around 13.5 times your gross annual income, if you're earning 300,000, that is, in order for you to hit an adequate retirement. So the numbers are actually pretty big here indeed. If you're married on a dual income, and you're earning 100,000, then you're going to need about 9 times your gross annual income. So that's about a $900,000 pot at age 65. Pretty aggressive numbers for sure. But if you're watching this video and you're looking at this, my guess is you're trying to figure this out. If not, you're already planning and on track already. Couple other bits to mention. The point of the benchmarks isn't to make you feel superior or inadequate. It's to prompt action. That's the purpose of this, to get you to take some action, to start putting away the money you need to put away for an adequate retirement, okay? A couple of other key insights to keep in mind. If you want to figure out how to do this and achieve these goals, make sure you're taking full advantage of your company match and your workplace retirement plan. Just do this. Ask your HR if you're not sure, but if your company is willing to match your contributions, they usually do this up to a set amount, then you need to do this and take advantage of that as much as you can. If you can increase your savings right away, that's ideal. If not, gradually do more over time. So like I say, maybe you're starting off younger and you can't do more than 4, 5, 6%, then every year up it by 1%. If you have a company retirement plan that enables automatic increases, sign up. Some companies have some really creative plans here. As you get raises, every year you're with the company, whatever it may be, they may automatically increase the amount that's deducted from your salary that goes into your pension account. Take advantage of all of this stuff. Don't let lifestyle creep. That is when you get a raise of 2, 3, 4, 5%, and then you go out and you spend 2, 3, 4, 5% more in your day-to-day life. Do not fall into that trap. Take that money, add it into your retirement account, and you'll be on your way to an adequate, enjoyable retirement of your dreams. Okay, so that's my video. Concludes our 2-part series on this, how much you need to be saving for an adequate retirement based on your age. The numbers are pretty big and a little bit scary, but don't let it scare you. Let it prompt you to take some action. If you like the video, click on the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, just by clicking on the subscribe button. Leave me a comment, tell me what you think, tell me about your retirement plans or anything else that you would like to see, topics that you would like me to cover. I also did a video a couple of months ago on why saving your first 100,000 is so difficult. If you're watching this video, you might be thinking it's unattainable even. But from 100,000 up to $1 million is much easier due to the power of compounding. I lay it all out on this video. So just click up here. There's a video right here. Click on this. I'll see you over there. Learn how to get from 100K to $1 million much easier than getting to your first 100K. As always, I wish you all the best in your savings and investment journey.